Okay.
And
what was happening?
We're also going on YouTube as well.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh. This is on YouTube. We've gone global now. This is big.
This is it.
So you guys are going to hear this again then, because I didn't get to say this in the live that I thought was live because I was late, but I guess we weren't live. So now we are really live, right?
Oh, we're live. We were talking about Eminem, right? Slim Shady.
We were talking about Eminem. I was saying I would like my name to be Slim Stacy, and I washed my hair for the show today.
Wow. I cut my hair.
I brushed my hair with my fingers.
That's
how
cool.
many NFTs have you sketches have you drawn already, Martin?
I'm just about to get the one up that we were in the pre-show.
Prolific.
And we have a metaphor for today.
Ooh,
did you ever do those street sketches? Like you're on the, look at that. This guy's just busting them out.
Oh, there's an NFT with a closed door and an NFT with an arrow with an open door.
Yeah, you didn't get on the conversation. That's a big
Well, this is perfect because I'm going to be the perfect student because I have no idea what you two had planned for this.
Yeah, we have a good plan. Do you want to open? How do you want to open, Martin? Do you want to open with that or something? Just what we've been doing this week, or
we don't have a song. There's no theme, jiggle, jingle.
No, we're just slowly warming up today. This is just a chit chat, and all you have to do is start chatting and then press go live, and here we are. So let's crack up a visual for right now.
Well, maybe we should talk about the kind of just some housekeeping. Is we have been planning more of a community focus where people can get involved and talk after, and the Toucan link that Martin and both Stacy posted on their pages. We're going to end the show. We're going to go about 30 minutes. Is that our plan? And then go to the Toucan community chat.
Yes, exactly. So welcome everybody to WTFrNFTs.
Oh, I like that look with the yellow, with the R and the S on top of each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we are in episode number 3. So this is our third little meetup today. And so let's introduce ourselves real quick for any new listeners or any rewatchers.
All right.
I am Dr. Stacy Gonzalez, and somebody just told me I was an edupreneur, so I'm going to own that today. I'm a 20-year veteran of K-12 public education, turned entrepreneur, who's here with clean hair for you today.
I thought you were going to say you're 20 years old.
That would be amazing. But no.
You had a birthday, right? Recently.
I don't know how anybody could have missed my birthday because that was pretty much the most obnoxious birthday ever. Just saying.
I had my birthday was like 4 months ago, and I didn't do that.
I didn't really know what to do that day either. And what Corey's saying, Martin, is my crazy LinkedIn post that went crazy about my birthday. It was great.
Personal branding.
It felt lovely to have that many people send nice things to me one day of the year. Like, who doesn't want that?
Yeah. Well, happy
belated birthday.
Thank you. Martin, are you going to introduce yourself and Corey, or Corey? You guys got to
go ahead, Martin. Go ahead.
You go, Corey.
I am Corey Corrales, and I am the founder of Brand New Voices. And here, Brand New Voices is we're exploring NFTs in a community way. So that's my big interest in this, and just hanging out with Martin and Stacy here and talking about big cultural things about NFTs and their connection to community.
Yay. And I am Martin. I am a crocodile wrestler. And when I'm not wrestling crocodiles, I'm a pitch coach. And when I'm not a pitch coach, I'm talking to these two about NFTs. And we are here on our, if you missed it, NFT, WFT, there's my dyslexia, WFTrNFTs, episode number 3. And we have just got Golden joining us here in chat. Hey, Golden, how are you doing?
Golden.
And Corey, I just have to comment on your haircut. and your shirt unbuttoned like that. It's a little Rico Suave-ish. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we've got you going Rico Suave. We've got
It's a
Martin with
pandemic.
the slick accent. I don't know. I mean, this show
where
is certainly.
Where do I have to go these days? Nowhere. You know, you got to. This is it. This is my big night out with you guys.
Bringing it. I appreciate that.
Excellent. Well, kick off the week in the right way. So, guys, why are we doing this show? Why are we joining weekly on a live? What's our plan?
Well, why don't we start out with maybe some of the big aha moments that we encountered in the NFT space this week.
All right. So, encounter NFT number 1. I went to the Seed Invest on Discord.
That's right.
Yep.
Missed it.
And so it was on the Discord. And I do think there's some learning that needs to happen, especially like even if people on LinkedIn don't go to Discord, at least knowing what Discord is would be a good entry point. Like I'm always thinking, what are the entry points of learning just to at least help people bridge that language gap relative to all this new stuff? And so Discord would be one of the things that I think would be.
Did they talk about, but Seed Club is a DAO, right? It's a DAO accelerator or something like that.
So you're already going to really big, things like DAOs. But yes, it's a community. Think of it like a group of people who are interested in pitching, like Martin does. So they were pitching their startups essentially.
Okay.
And there were a bunch of them. The ones I heard, I don't know if you're interested. I can share now if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
This Krause House is trying to buy an NBA team through social tokens and crypto.
Okay.
So they've got people, they're stacked. Like they've got people from basketball. They've got some professional players. So that it's like pretty exciting. I went on their Twitter account and I'm like, oh my God.
So they want to buy a team.
They want to buy an NBA
team. So using an NFT or?
Correct. Or using blockchain, using crypto and NFTs and tokens. I don't exactly know the finance plan, but the fact that they want a decentralized purchase NBA team.
Oh, I got one. Okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to lose the thought. Have you heard of the Constitution DAO?
No.
So this is wild. Speaking of that, they are right now, this has been going on for a few weeks. They're going to buy the Constitution of the United States through their DAO. They have to generate like $20 million and then they can buy the Constitution. that's what they're doing.
Crazy.
It's wild.
Wow. That's going to be interesting to sit back and watch.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go Martin.
No, you carry on with the NBA. I've got notes so we can come back.
What other big, because these DAOs, like the DAOs and the NFTs are really an interesting power couple that's emerging. And I think you're going to see, as far as like trends go, what I'm reading is like, this is going to be, it's not even, it's so massive.
Let's keep in mind our audience, right? So our audience is LinkedIn. And so we're talking about a DAO. And a DAO stands for DAO, which is decentralized.
Yeah.
Autonomous operating system
or organization. I like the teacher that comes out and that's a good. I love that. Okay.
It's a community that functions.
Well, I think if you kind of had to break a DAO down, really, it's very complicated stuff. But the simple thing is, it's a headless company. It has no CEO, no CFO, none of that. It's all run by the people. So it's a pretty radical idea. And there's like, they have treasuries, and I mean, some of them are billions of dollars now, within a few months. This is how crazy it is. So, for me, and I love that Seed Club, that Stacy was talking about. I think really people should really check them out if you want to really understand, Web3, DAOs, NFTs. That's Seed Club is one of the best. I think it's seedclub.io or something, their website. But if you just type in Seed Club DAO or Seed Club NFT, you'll probably find them. To me,
it's Tyler in that. Tyler, who's been dropping loads of comments in LinkedIn.
Yeah, I don't know if Tyler is. Tyler is the man.
Tyler's everywhere. As far as I know, I think Tyler's everywhere. I don't think Tyler speaks, and I think he's everywhere.
No, Tyler's awesome. And I think my big thing this week was I sat in on a really interesting pricing discussion on Twitter Spaces with a lot of really big NFT artists, blue checks on Twitter. And they were talking about pricing and strategy. And it occurred to me that, these are people that are selling tens of thousands of dollars of NFTs already. They're big, and they have 20, 30,000 followers on their Twitter as a result. But it occurred to me like they're really struggling to understand pricing, which is understandable because it's so crazy. But it was an interesting thing because I think from a lot of marketers on LinkedIn, especially, they would really understand this world that they're getting into, where the artists are, even the big ones, are beginning to sound like marketers. So it's this really interesting collaboration opportunities, I think, for folks on LinkedIn who can understand, pricing psychology and inbound marketing, because they're starting to talk about CTAs and all these things. So I think they're really ready for that conversation. And that was a very interesting conversation that led me to kind of a new understanding of how even they view their work and what the NFT really is. And it just sort of hit me. And Martin has did an illustration as we were talking that kind of brings it home. And the big thing for me that I took out was that when you're pricing an NFT or thinking about the value of it, it's not just a piece of art. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with. Like, why would someone pay all this money for this JPEG file? It's just this piece of thing. And so when you think of it like that, it doesn't make sense. But when you think about that, it represents a doorway into a whole world of community, of value, and the NFT can have a lot of value creation inside, like commercial licensing to certain projects, access to the creator, to the artist, or to the designer, marketer, whoever you are. That's what they're paying for, and the journey, like just like a buyer's journey. So when you think it really hit home, like that's why people are buying into it's this whole journey, this whole, not just it's an experience, but it's beyond that. It's value creation for if you construct it correctly. If you just treat it like a piece, then you're going to be prone to market fluctuations and cheap pricing, basically.
This is such a rich dialogue and such a really good conversation. And it's really linking what many people who we follow, like I see Rob popping up here saying hi to all of us, right? And
hey,
thank you for you keep sharing here. But like, this is a really important, right? Because if we're going to bridge what's happening over there in the Discord or in Twitch, wherever these other spaces are, Twitter, here's the reason why we're picking LinkedIn to do this, is to kind of bring it to how does it impact those of us here? Well, as an individual creator, and I can speak for myself, it's really hard to market yourself, especially when you're a highly creative person, but it's even harder to ask somebody else to market you. So my choices are have somebody market me or figure out how to market myself as a creator. And I think it's easier for me to figure myself out, my voice and the things I want to do with my art or my creations. And so that is a real opportunity for people who understand the psychology of marketing, but having the person own it versus making somebody.
Right. And, Rob, hey, Rob's got some good comments. And I wanted to actually use him as an example because Rob Rob has got this new book that came out, which I need to go read it. I heard it's amazing, but that's a good example. And he's got this whole backstory. He's a musician. He's done all these, he has all these, like Martin, he's got this whole, he's like in the crazy creative field. And and he has all this backstory. That's what I mean by the NFT, the people who treat NFTs like that, like that's their journey. They're taking you on a journey of either their life or, access points to products, right? Exactly. Like that's going to be
box.
right. Those are going to be the people that I think really get this space. And I think it can be a marketer as well as any NFT artist. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how do you deliver that value, and it's not attached to the price. The price is just the lead in, lead into your world, and that should be a good premium for that,
It's
or
really
the buyer's going to be disappointed if it's a cheap deal. They're going to be like, oh, that's a bad journey. Why would I take a journey with you that's cheap? I want the good one.
Martin, take us on a journey. What revelations, learnings did you have this week?
So this week I met up with another Rob, not Rob Gilbert, who's on the call. Hey, Rob. But with Rob that I've met on TikTok. And so Rob is someone I follow on TikTok. He talks a lot about blockchain, investment, NFTs. He's bought NFTs. He's minted NFTs. And his project's super interesting. So he sat with his 4-year-old daughter and they kind of squiggled on an iPad together. And then they turned that squiggle into an object and turned it into an NFT and minted it and gave it away to Rob's sort of online TikTok following. Wow. And so we sat down and in the very same way that I wanted to reach out to Corey at the very beginning of all this, Rob was sort of like, so what's your plan? And I was like, I don't know. I've made a lot of JPEGs. And even as we were talking, it reminded me, like, when I lived in Beijing, I used to make stickers. And this was sort of 2006, 7, sometime like that. And I basically made, 4,000 or 5,000 sticker sheets. And on every sticker sheet, there was like 10 stickers. So I must have created, 40,000 stickers. And I gave them away. And I didn't sign them and I didn't sell them. I just distributed them. And I got real delight of going to somebody's house and seeing my sticker on the door. And I would just sit there silently watching it. And I would see people talking about it. And then one of my friends would go, oh shit, Martin made that sticker. And I was like, yeah. And I just loved that, like, too cool for school positioning. And what it makes me think now is, like, with NFTs, I won't live in urban myth, and I won't be promoted on my friends telling other people about me, but I will be connected to that piece of artwork through the code of NFTs. And so it's quite an interesting transition to sort of think that you can, and what you were talking about, Corey, like how do artists promote themselves? And what we were talking in the pre-show is, like, artists, like, yes, it's all decentralized. Yes, you have a load of control, but if you're in the forefront of creativity and making art, sometimes marketing is the last thing you want to do because you're so emotionally exhausted from the creation phase. And then somebody comes in with a fresh breath of creativity and promotes something. So it's like DJs need promoters and artists need agents and creatives need agencies. Yet I think what NFTs are going to do is they're going to rebalance the relationship. So it's no longer stilted in one person's favor either way, but it's going to sort of say, well, you're the left hand, I'm the right hand. We need to coexist. And the NFT brings balance to that coexistence.
Yeah, absolutely.
That right there was like straight up gold.
Yeah,
I mean, that is like, if I could put the mind-blowing emoji right now, and what I basically heard for the people in the back, what I heard was like, here's how we get back in balance. And here's where we don't have to live in these polarized, opposing, whether it's marketers and creators or Republicans and Democrats. I'm gonna go there. I don't care,
Oh,
right?
whoa.
Whoa,
Okay.
what? Stop
Okay.
the madness. That's crazy.
I love
right? And this whole idea of being able, what Martin shared about seeing his sticker and his art from a perspective of outside of himself as a creator, knowing his impact is beyond what he had intended, and then to get to see that, right? Like the goal, we don't create as creators because we want it for us. We create, he gave 40,000 stickers away because his art is for other people. But it's really cool to see how your art impacts and the creations that you bring impact. And that was, to me, what was super powerful about that.
Totally. No, that's for sure. And I think the more we unpack those ideas, and this idea of like a doorway into your world, it takes it away. Like right now, and it's NFT is connected to artists. And when we think of artists, we think of these crazy, people sitting around doing art all day, but balance right there.
Nice.
And I, it really is accessible to anyone, like the marketer, it's just about how you present the experience. And I think the visual for me about that, it's this doorway, and the art is just this, you can think of it like a logo even. In fact, it can be a logo. And that's more accessible to me than saying NFT artists, which art is the center of the NFT universe. And I think it's important that it remains that, but it's obviously expanding out into everything. And I think it's important to understand, like, it's not just artists that are benefiting, are going to benefit from all this. It's going to be all of us that are in marketing and sales and all this.
What I would add on to that is that you talk about the doorway, and what's happened in the last year or whatever. Web3 has sort of said, this is where the door is. And then the artists have said,
good point.
Put the sticker on the door. And then the more people that embrace NFTs will open the door, and like you said, go into rooms we didn't even know existed. And
that's a great point. Like, I feel like Web3 is giving you the new foundation, and you get to build whatever you want with it. But it's giving you this very powerful new foundation that didn't exist. Like, a lot of it just didn't exist before, and that's that value creation and community piece that I'm really interested in, where community members, or your company or whatever you want to call it, can benefit financially through this Web3 crypto thing.
Yeah, I was just in, right before this, a couple of meetings ago, in a community. Oh,
that's
nice.
Cool.
And you said the NFT.
What's the one? What's the door one with the dots?
That's saying that there wasn't a door, and then Web3 said, this is where the new door is. You didn't even know there was a door there. And then NFTs have said, here's the door frame. And then embracing NFTs is pushing the door open and going through.
Nice. I like that.
Sorry, Stacey, you were saying?
I was going to, two things. Is there, I imagine when I drew that on my paper, because I drew, like, I'm sketching now too.
Yes. There we go. Yeah.
And so I put the NFT is like, when you have an enter or an exit sign on two doors, like, I saw the NFT as the way you enter. So how do you enter into Web3? You enter through an NFT. If you want to play in this space, right?
That's
if you
powerful,
right? That's how you enter.
And that's what's happening. That's
exactly what's happening. Yeah. Like 40 Yacht Club.
It's the entry point into this, I mean, really, if you kind of take this whole idea and take it out into a real world example that we can relate to, it's no different than a business. Like, you're walking along in a neighborhood, and there's a business you're interested in. What's going to catch your eye? Like, why do you want to go into that business? So let's say it's a floral shop. Why did you pick that one and not the one that's over there? Why did you go there? And I think that's, so once you open that door, that's the NFT, is that door, like, and you get in, and that's what you're paying for, you know. And there's all
You're paying,
kinds
well,
of,
and you're paying to participate. You're paying to participate in what I believe we are seeing is a new type of cultural revolution, if you will, right? And so if you want to be a part of defining the nomenclature, if you want to be a part of, I was thinking about the English language, right? When I had to learn English, how hard it was. I had to take a whole semester course when I was getting my master's in just literally diagramming and deconstructing and learning all the rules of English, and then learning all the exceptions to the rule. And the English language is super terribly hard. And Martin, you speak a second language. I don't. So I wonder relative to other languages, but we're watching people right now create rules, and then we're watching the community respond, and then exceptions are being made. So like where crypto could get you into the club before, well, now an NFT can get you in, and it's this social token thing, and we're going to allow it to do this thing as well. And we're going to make up this new rule. And so you're in the midst of watching it evolve before your eyes, and you can be a part of it. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and it's really flipped the value creation on its head. Another big thing that happened in the news this week, which I think is really important for culturally of what these mean, and this is not all good, but it just shows you how this is turning the entire world upside down already. There's the crypto punks that a lot of people know about, the original NFTs that have gone for millions and millions of dollars. And now there's these things called crypto funks, which is a knockoff, and they literally ripped off the IP, the commercial, like they are a ripoff, and so they can get sued, in copyright and all that. But they went forward with it, and so what their position was that we're creating crypto punks. They slightly changed them for the people that can't afford $1 million. So they're kind of like dissing. That's they've already appended the former radical creators of the crypto punks and said,
yes,
you're now the establishment in like what?
Remember, you sent me that article. You sent me an article probably about 3 months ago. The title was "Who Disrupts the Disruptors?"
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably like an 8-page, manifesto of some sort.
Right.
It was really deep and long,
and here's the big thing. Right. And not only is it disrupting that, but this is the really wild thing to me, was that, so OpenSea, which is the big NFT marketplace, they delisted funks. So in our normal world, we would think, okay, they took them down. Well, decentralization in Web3 says, no, because you don't control me. So even if you're the big dog of OpenSea, they went over and they built their community up. Now, this is debatable whether this was a good or bad thing, but the interesting part to me is how powerful community is. They said, hey, we got delisted on OpenSea. We're going to open a new website, decentralize that whole thing, buy it from us. They blew the doors off the sales, right? From that, because they got delisted. So this is a big mess. This is a frigging big mess in terms of IP law, and there's debates about it. Is this why are people celebrating this? They ripped off CryptoPunks, but now there's CryptoPunks who are starting to appreciate it. Go, we really like what you did there. So that's a really crazy situation,
Andy asked how he's going to post a GIF or GIF. I don't never know how to say that in the comments here.
Andy will figure it out. Andy will figure this out. I guarantee you. Trust me.
Oh. All right, Martin, what you got for us as we go to wrap up and move the conversation to the public in Toucan?
I'm just listening and sketching. I mean, I'm thinking like,
what do you think? Like, what do you think of that issue as an artist, a former, as a designer, like, and you ran an agency in China? What is your gut reaction to all that? This IP, like, because copyright protection is a big deal for designers and artists. Always was.
Well, I think for somebody with the CryptoPunks, it being so from a graphic designer's ability, so ridiculously easy to create. a small pixelated image. And I remember in 2000 when I graduated and I was working in London before I went to China, we used to follow Mini Pops, which was a guy who just created these little figurines out of pixels, but it was of like super relevant cultural icons. And so he would, and it just became, who's he going to do next? And it was just prolific because it was so simple, but it took years and years of his training and his idea to create these mini pops. And CryptoPunks, I looked at that and I just thought of mini pops and I was kind of like, well, it's just super simple pixel art. So there is zero barrier to entry. So really, it's the simplicity and the ridiculousness of them that gives them the value the first time around the block. And then someone else is sitting on the sideline going, well, I can do that and I'm going to just shift it slightly. And when it's all free, open source, decentralized, anybody's game, we're all equal. It's like to quote Agent Smith from The Matrix, it's an inevitability, and it's not going to stop. And so, is it going to get insanely tribal, and is it going to get more and more and more niche, where it becomes like ridiculously, I've invested in this coin, I've invested in this, this is where I'm putting my attention at the end of the day. And there's a sort of story, and I seem to sort of keep coming back to ideas of art, and because art is really just ideas that somebody's packaged up and sold. And so, have you heard of Andy Warhol's cookie jar collection? So Andy Warhol, obviously, everyone knows Andy Warhol for his Marilyn prints and his Brillo boxes and his 15 minutes of fame. But he went around thrift stores and charity shops and flea markets and bought cookie jars. And they were just discarded, and they were somebody else's rubbish, or somebody's parents passed away and so they had a house full of stuff, so they just sold it. Because Andy Warhol bought the cookie jars and had built up a silent collection of cookie jars, these cookie jars are ridiculously expensive.
Right.
Because it was a collection curated by Andy Warhol. And that's it.
Right. Right.
But they're only expensive because he also created the Velvet Underground, and he did the Elvis and the Marilyn, and so at the end of the day, they're cookie jars. But he collected them. He's got like he hit a tipping point of he's got like there's a collection somewhere in the thousands of, and he chose them. So he sort of said that is so ridiculously kitsch, I'm going to buy it. That one I'm going to reject. This one I'm going to buy. And so he put the Andy Warhol seal of approval on that thing. And that again is like when you look at the NFT artwork at this stage, it's so ridiculously simple to create from a graphic designer's point of view. And this is how I got into it, because I'm like, I have got hundreds of these images sitting on my hard disk.
But here's a question I had for you though, because I would I did a lot of web design myself, and you would always hear, and I feel like this is why a lot of designers just burn out or they can't make it, because you're constant. In fact, I just got a request today and I don't do a lot of design anymore, but people will come up to you and say, I need a website, or I need this graphic. And as a strategist, that's not the way it works. But designers have gotten used to this relationship where if someone makes a request, you do it. Oh, I do the request. I do design. Are you a graphic designer? I love your work. Can you do this? And that's not the way it should work, but it's the way for a lot of people it does. But when you, Martin, like as a designer, when people would say, because I would hear this too, like, oh, this logo, it's so simple. My kid could have done that. My 15-year-old kid. And I used to get really irritated with that and go like, well, then you know what, go hire him or go to Fiverr or whatever. Like, it's cool. But now, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would probably present it like, but this is just like I'm talking about this NFT in the world. It's just that it might be, and it might be simple. I'm not saying that objectively this might be a very simple thing that I designed, but what I'm allowing is a whole entry point into your business, into your, how you onboard, what's the smell? What's the feeling you get when you open that door? That's what I'm giving you, because it's not just because I've thought about that. I've built it into the representation, which is your logo or your identity piece. And I've built that in. So it might be simple, but that's what you want, because that's what people are going to expect when they get into your world. And now we're going to build out your journey. And that's the value of that simple thing. So how do you, is that how you would think of your work, when you created it?
Two things that spring to mind, and we have to jump into the hangout soon. But Canva, in one sense, was the NFT before the NFT.
Totally.
Because it
democratized. Totally. That is the statement of the show.
I have to say, I hate Canva. I hate
Canva, the original NFT for designers.
That's good.
Yes.
That's
for non-designers.
Right. The remix, and they remix stuff, and yeah.
Canva, like graphic designers look at Canva and they're ripping their hair out. It's essentially templates, customizable templates. And I was thinking about this because, like, I started graphic design as a professional in 2000, and we had to create everything ourselves. 21 years later, you pay $30 a month and you have access to the world's templates.
Right.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Well, it's great if you're not a graphic designer. Sucks if you're a graphic designer. But then it comes to your point, Corey, that actually it's not about the pixels and the vectors. And when people come and ask me about, can you design a logo? I'm like, I can design a logo, but it's going to cost you 10 times more than you think it's going to cost. And you have to follow my process. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Because it's not, otherwise it's like, here's a bunch of arbitrary vectors and shapes. If it doesn't serve your purposes from a business point of view, it is pointless engaging in it. But if all you need is your first bridge across the river, go to Fiverr and get some guy, girl, lady, kid to design you.
I take that even back further. If all you need is a thing across the river, go on Canva, because you can figure out who you are better than telling, oh, I don't like this. Oh, could you change that color? Oh, I just want that a little higher over there. And because you don't really, right?
Yeah, last logo I did, we didn't have any U-turns. The client got what they wanted, but we spent more time on the strategy than we did on the design, and we spent more money.
Because that's what we need. We need creators need strategy. And Andy said he'll pay more for a shitty logo that he'll design, and you'll pay him to destroy it afterwards.
Wow, that's
so
meta.
Andy, you better jump in the toucan. Boys, are you ready? Are you ready to wrap today?
Yeah, let's rock it up
and jump
I'll
over
design
there.
you a logo. You'll pay. We'll get into that. Toucan. Toucan. Meet us on Toucan, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. That's the last sketch that I got done. It's gonna explode and implode on itself.
Nice. But we're not saying goodbye. We're saying please join us on Toucan.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna drop the link to Toucan in LinkedIn right now.
Okay.
Can any of us go in and drop it in this chat now?
Maybe if you give me a second. I have it right here.
Yeah.
I'm not good with the multi-tabs.
I'm great with the multi-tabs, but the computer goes slower when, we're streaming too. Where do you want me? Oh, you want me to drop it in the live, right?
See if we can do that.
Okay. I'm going to do this. It's going to, there's a delay, so it's going to also take a hot minute. So you're going to
delay on your LinkedIn? Have they delayed your LinkedIn?
There it is. There you go. How's that? The link is there. Come to the Toucan for the after party. And I hope there's going to be some ladies. So find a friend who's a female or identifies as female and bring me a girl. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, guys. Lovely live once again. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Andy, Rob, Golden, Jareth. Who else was on? See you guys over in the
Toucan.
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 All right.
Adios.
Adios.
See you guys.